So I'd like to welcome everybody to the School Planning Committee meeting of August 18th, 2021. This meeting is being held remotely in compliance. I feel like I should know this by heart, and I still don't, in compliance with the executive order of March 2020, suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law, and such order that was extended last spring to extend through April of 2022. All members of the committee are joining this meeting remotely via Zoom conferencing. The meeting has been posted in accordance with open meeting laws, and minutes will be taken. The minute is also being recorded and by Easton Community Access Television. And I think that's it. Without further ado, I'm going to do a quick roll call to confirm who is here for the meeting, and then we can move forward with the agenda. So a quick roll call to confirm attendees. Cabral.
Present.
Wiseman.
Present.
O'Neill.
Present.
Reed. I didn't see Connor before, so yeah. Fulgenetti.
Here.
Cedarbaum.
Present.
Weintraub.
Present.
Carlson.
Present.
Vimosi.
Vimosi present.
Helen. I didn't see Patrick before either. Soberai. I don't think Billy was here. Right. Field.
Present.
Twombly.
Here.
And then Martin, I'm here as well. Before I officially start this meeting, I'd just like to, on behalf of the School Planning Committee, I'd like to thank members of our district administration and all of our municipal employees who I know are working diligently to prepare schools for opening in the next couple of weeks. And in advance, I'd like to thank them for their support of our students and for our safe return to school. So I just wanted to put that out there before we jump into the meeting. So thank you. With that, I am going to move to the agenda. And the first thing that I have on the agenda is for us to approve the minutes from July 21st of 2021. So could I please get a motion to approve the minutes from July 21st, 2021?
O'Neill, so moved.
Fulgenetti, second.
Great. Cabral.
Yes.
Wiseman.
Yes.
O'Neill.
Yes.
Fulgenetti.
Yes.
Cedarbaum.
Yes.
Weintraub.
Yes.
Carlson.
Yes.
Vimosi.
Vimosi, yes.
And Martin, I'm also a yes. With that, I'm going to then turn the meeting over to Walter. I think that there are some updates that we have tonight, and then we can move forward. Go ahead, Walter.
All right. So we'll jump right into the construction progress update, and we'll show you guys some pictures. So in July, we've had structural steel, or since our last meeting, we've had continuation of structural steel. This is a picture of a building. I think we are standing in the gymnasium in this picture, looking back at the trailers on the left. And on the right, you see the what was the excavation of the old leaching chambers, which is then becoming underground infiltration system 3. So this is where all of the water that comes from the roof of the building gets transferred into and dispersed, one of these 3 units. So this one, the other two have been completed already, or were completed already. On the left, you will see excavation and stone backfill for the retaining wall along the eastern side of the site against the old paper road. And on the right, you will see what was the beginning of the structures installation at the old parking lot. So part of the phase 1A that we'll talk about today for the parking lot that's going in. So those drainage structures and water distribution systems were being installed. On the left, you'll see a photo of the first slab on deck pour, which was on 7/28. That was for E building. Went great. FFFL, which is floor flatness, floor level, was taken that day. That passed. No issues with that first pour. On the right, you'll see continued installation of building foundation, building walls. This is a picture of the rebar getting tied, getting ready for concrete, or getting concrete installed at the other end. On the left, you'll see a photo of the new location for the transformer, which will take the service from the street, and then from there it will go into the building. And additionally, it will also house the generator for the school. On the right, you'll see a picture of the mock-up foundation and mock-up wall, which have been progressed today. They have the actual building mock-up framing on them. We've also continued the progress of the underground sanitary lines throughout the building. So this is a picture of B building excavation sanitary. The pipe has been installed, it hasn't been backfilled yet, but that runs throughout the building. And on the picture on the right, you'll see a picture of stair 4. The concrete has not been poured yet on any of these stairs, so they're not in use at this time, but we do expect those very shortly to be poured. So we likely won't need temporary stairs. We'll be able to use the actual stairs instead of the ladders. So just looking at the progress on camera 1, you can see on the left, we had no steel, very little foundations, and foundations were ongoing in building D. On the right, you'll see the steel up and foundations nearly complete in building C. On the left, you'll see building B and some of building A going up. On the right, you will see building B and most of building D erected, and the slabs are getting prepped with the metal deck. And then the third camera, you will see on the left, very limited steel going into A building. And then on the right, you'll see a slab on deck, roof that has been, temporary roof that has been installed. You can see some of the mechanical, what we call the penthouse screening for some of the mechanical units. And you'll see some of the temporary electric, some of the temporary underground going. And I believe that was all of the construction progress photos. So if anyone has any questions, I can't see everyone, but feel free to yell. So the next item we have is the topping off ceremony. So just a quick little background on the celebration or beam topping off ceremony and what it is and why we do it. It's a pretty big piece of the construction. It's the last beam that's hoisted into place from the crane. And it's typically, you can see here, I believe it's a Nordic tradition to put the tree symbolizing the building coming out of the earth. And we typically have the flag on the beam that gets lifted up as well. So right now the plan is 8/26 at 1 p.m. It'll be the same for anyone who's going to be visiting the site. It'll be the same location as the groundbreaking, that back area right outside the fence. So we won't need hard hats. At this time, large vinyl stickers were brought over to central office and are in the process of being signed. I'm not sure if someone from central office can advise where they are for signing, but they are available. And what we'll do is we'll bring them over on that day and we'll place them right on the beam prior to it being hoisted up. MSBA will be there, district will be there, PMA, Perkins Eastman, and Great Builders will be there, and our steel workers, Stellar Steel directors will be there as well. So I'm
And-
happy to take any questions on the topping off ceremony.
Go ahead, Lisa.
So as you can see, I think in this photo even, what has been done in some other places, unless that's signed directly on the beam, what's been done in some other places with the current environment is vinyl stickers that are placed that fit right in that spot. And so Walter is correct. We have dispersed these throughout the town. There will be 3 available, and we are going to send information out to all families and staff, and certainly anyone in the community is welcome to sign the vinyl stickers. There's going to be one in central office at 50 Oliver Street. There's one at Town Hall, and after 11 o'clock tomorrow, there will also be one available at the Ames Free Public Library. So we welcome people to go to one of those sites and sign that so that they can be a part of history and be part of the building. As Walter said, it's very symbolic, and we will make sure that those are affixed before the ceremony on the 26th.
And I think when I talked with Jody today, I think she was going to try and reach out so that I know that invitation to sign the stickers could go out via the town crier as well. So
Perfect.
that school messenger will hit the school side and then the town crier. And then I also think that we were going to try and do some kind of public relations press release, not around the ceremony, but around the invitation for folks to come sign the vinyl stickers. Essentially sign the beams is what they're doing. So,
Right. Unfortunately, because of the current situation, also because of the lack of space and parking for where we are able to hold the ceremony, we won't be able to have it open to the general public, the ceremony on that day, but it will be recorded, of course, potentially even live streamed by ECAT. I'll have to check on that. But we do welcome people to sign it in advance so that we can affix it. And of course, those public officials who will be present can sign the beam that day.
Great. Thanks to both Lynn and to Lynn Souza and Jody Allen for kind of being stellar party planners.
Yes, they organized the entire event.
Yeah,
I give them a lot of credit.
Yep.
And just for anyone wondering, the beam is in a concealed location, so it will not be visible to people walking around the building once the construction is complete.
It's strictly symbolic.
Yes,
Thank you.
absolutely.
Okay. Any questions or comments about the topping off before we move on? Good.
I just wanted to make sure. I thought in the agenda it said the 25th.
It
It's
did.
definitely the 26th,
It
correct?
is the 26th.
Okay, I just wanted
Definitely
to
the
make sure no
26th.
one's confused by that.
Yeah, you're right.
Thursday, the 26th.
Yeah.
Yep. So when I created the agenda, Brait had not given us the date of the 26th yet. I just forgot to go back in and change it. Sorry
No,
about
no
that.
problem. Just in case anyone sees the discrepancy there.
Yep. All right. Next item, Parkview School reopening. So just to remind everyone of the phase 1A work that's been ongoing and scheduled to be complete, is this parking lot area you can see highlighted and the paper road on the right-hand side. The work in the parking area underground is complete. They are currently placing soil and dense grade in preparation to have the grading machine, they call it the grader, on site on Saturday. So Brait Builders will be prepping that parking lot area. So then the top part of the screen, the curved area, on Saturday, and they are planning to pave on Monday, the 23rd. That is pending weather. If we get some bad rain, bad storms, and it does get pushed off, the pavement day could get pushed a day to the 24th for that top area. On the right-hand side, you'll see that we call it kind of the utility corridor. There's gas, water, underground electric, tel data cable, all coming in from the street and then from 2 poles that are going to be relocated. the two poles that are being relocated, we are awaiting documentation from the utility companies that's going to go over to the Board of Selectmen. We were trying to get on their agenda for Tuesday, but unfortunately the documentation isn't accurate, isn't up to date, and is being revised. And they're working through that right now. And the easement is for the easement is for pulling the power from the pole all the way down to the transformer pad. Right now, the gas and water have been sleeved and stubbed into the site from the street all the way down to our construction entrance where we're going to have that ceremony. The structures that are about 3/4 of the up that way on that corridor are in. There are two that are actually within Spooner Street that, due to the relocation of the pole on the right, can't be put in yet because we'd be undermining that pole in completely unsafe condition. The pole needs to move first before those structures can go in. So that's one thing that's happening. We've met with the utility companies today. Actually, Verizon and Engrid were both on site meeting with PMA and Brate. And what we've been able to work out is that the primary duct bank coming from that pole, so basically the straight run that comes in the paper road and comes down to the site, is going to be put in prior to paving and grading and bindering that area. We were able to get Engrid to come do a partial inspection. Typically, they don't like to work with partials. They feel that things can get disrupted, damaged, and they never work out. But they're going to work with us. We're going to work with them, take pictures of where we dead end it at the top of the road and where we bring it into the site. And we're going to take careful care to make sure that nothing gets damaged. Brate Builders, Robert B. Hour are going to be working on that. With that being said, this area kind of has been a confusing and difficult location with all these utilities coming in and working with the different utility companies. So right now, and this morning, we talked with David and Sam and Dave Field and Dave Twomley about paving this on the 27th at the earliest, and the latest the 30th. We've tried to work with them and see what they would need, what the school needs access for prior to September 1st. And we found out that the only two accesses in the back that are needed are going to be for a delivery on the 24th from Cisco, which is food. Brate Builders is going to accommodate that, make sure that that road is fully empty, that no work's going on right on that day. And then the other date is the 27th. That's a milk delivery that Sam has told us, and we're very thankful he's going to have them take it in the front of the building and it won't be an issue. So we're working to get that area prepped. And the reason it's taken a little bit of coordination is because once that primary duct bank is excavated, which we are planning on doing tomorrow, pending the weather, there needs to be an inspection from Engrid and potentially from the electrical inspector in town prior to that primary duct bank getting encased in concrete. Once it's encased in concrete, or once it's poured, you obviously need to let it set for a certain amount of time, and then it can be backfilled. So it's kind of a staggered process. And then once it's backfilled, the grader would come in and finish that roadway. So what Brate and what we talked through today was at the earliest the 27th, and the latest would be Monday the 30th. And then we're doing everything we can to avoid any issues with that. And then only access back there is for trash removal and for deliveries. So it'll be basically a day of bindering that area that next week, of grading that area, and then one day of paving in that area as well. So we're working with everyone to try to coordinate that. And I think I have another picture to show, and I'm more than happy to take any questions or talk about anything in regards. So if you can see the curved area at the top of the street, that's the new parking area that's being prepped right now. Spooner Street runs without the curve right through it, and this parking area connects back on both the east and west sides. So I'll take any questions or any discussion on all of this.
I think you're good, Walter. I mean, obviously, it seems that you are doing what you need to do in terms of coordinating with Sam and the school, and I think that that's very critical. Obviously, if there is any point where you also need to be reaching back out to abutters, I'm confident that you'll do that as necessary as well.
Absolutely.
Those are always my concerns right now as this work is going on, is making sure we're connected with the abutters to the extent that we can and need to be, and then also to be minimizing the impacts to Sam as he tries to run a school this year.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We're going to be in contact. We've talked to Sam a bit, but I think we'll be in contact with him almost on a daily basis, if not, every 4-hour basis during the school year. It's going to be busy and it's going to be tight, and I'm sure we're going to get some of his deliveries and he'll get some of ours, and we'll coordinate them and get that all straightened out. But we've made Braid aware there's no driving over in that area. There's no deliveries over there. They have done a pretty good job not sending delivery trucks. Everyone's been utilizing the 37 Lothrop Street as the address. So everyone has been coming in on that south portion of the site, which has been really helpful. But down in the corner right there, you can actually see where those utilities tie in. That's the generator and the pad mount transformer as well.
Walter,
Yep.
just you reminded me when you said the Lothrop address. Is the address of the new school going to be the same as Parkview? Will it be 50 Spooner?
I believe that's the anticipation, that it'll be 50 Spooner.
Okay.
Dan, Don?
I'm not 100% sure of that.
Okay.
No? Okay.
No.
Who makes that decision? I think it's a town decision, right?
It is.
Yep.
It is.
Okay, thanks.
All right. Anything else on this? All right. Quick cash flow and schedule update. Build to date is 16.3 million. That is through the month of July. We are expecting our next requisition from Braid Builders shortly in the next week or so. MSBA reimbursement to date is 3.9 million, and pending MSBA audit is 9.2 million. So we are expecting them to review that 9.2 million and be providing reimbursement on that very shortly. That request went in, I believe, about 2 weeks ago, maybe about 3, and they're usually about 3 to 4 weeks behind the request. So in good shape there. Construction look ahead. We'll be completing structural steel in building C and D, completing the phase 1A work, with the kind of the caveats that we talked about earlier, the 2 stub outs for the tel data and the power and the permanent power. We're going to continue with placements of slab on deck, and we're going to probably start slab on grade very shortly here once the underground's complete in building E. We're going to continue with the installation of underground utilities throughout the building. Masonry walls have been going up. I would expect that those could be complete within the next month or 2. Installation of roofing is ongoing. We are in a temporary roof situation as the insulation is not coming until later in the year, but that's not a big deal. It's getting temped in by our roofing subcontractor. They're doing a great job so far. Okay, we're going to continue with site drainage and getting into retaining walls in around the site. We're going to continue with layout of interior and exterior walls, and very likely that we will begin framing of the interior and the exterior walls very shortly here. I think we're expecting a delivery next week by our drywall guy. That would be metal studs, not drywall. MEP coordination is probably going to look to wrap up in the next month or 2. And that's really just coordination between all the trades: fire protection, electrical, HVAC, plumbing, everything in the ceiling and underground, from the ceiling all the way down to the underground. And we're going to be having kickoff meetings with our commissioning agent. So a reminder, commissioning agent assigned by the MSBA to make sure that everything that's put in the building is operating on the sequence of operations that are within the project specifications and drawings. And they do a really good job, and they have a 10-month warranty walkthrough at the end of the job. So following substantial completion, they'll be back on site. But we're in touch with them weekly. They're on all of our distributions, so they know what's going on the site. We do have one vote, and I'm going to let Dan and Dawn talk about, Dan or Dawn, I'm not sure who, talk about this one, but is a discretionary change that may not be considered discretionary. We're right on the border of we need to do it, and I'll let, but it's changing a custodial storage room to a bathroom, and I'll let Dan talk about it. And if anyone can't see this, I can zoom in a little bit on it if you need me to.
Oh, you have drawings. Good job.
I do. I have the drawing up for you, and you can.
No, we had
everyone-
drawings too, and I wanted drawings, but I might want Dawn's drawings
Okay.
because they show the whole building. And of course, timing is everything. Because my kids just ran out here with 2 iPads. No, we can't do iPads because this internet.
No,
Goodbye.
I'm going to mine Minecraft.
Okay.
As someone with kids,
Sorry,
yes,
everybody.
good job, Nicholas.
Yeah,
Walter, I
that's
think
great.
you have
Dawn,
to
you want to bring up those
unshare.
other drawings while I put in passcodes?
Yeah, I think Walter has to unshare for me to share
Okay. I will
because I'm
stop.
getting an error when I
Yep,
try.
no problem.
I love my
Go
kids. I
ahead.
love my kids.
Perfect. Here we go. Hold on one second.
Oh, nice.
Dan,
Way better. Yeah, it's
All
way
right.
better. Thanks.
you want me to
Okay,
go to the
um,
second floor though, right?
Yeah, let's go to the second floor.
Okay.
So here's the issue. We have a lot of bathrooms in this building, but a lot of the bathrooms are dedicated to pre-K and students. We don't have a lot of bathrooms dedicated to staff. And there is a distance requirement in the plumbing code about how far someone who's employed in a workplace can get to go to a bathroom. The closest bathroom to the D wing, which is this lower wing, yep, that one there, and you have to go from the furthest door, which is all the way over by that like last classroom, all the way over to these bathrooms over by the elevator, all the way down
What
that
these?
corridor, all the way over there. So that's
one?
just about over. That's the closest on that floor. On the lower level, we have other bathrooms that are in the B wing, which is below. If you want to go back to the first floor. Yeah, we have staff bathrooms here and on the other side. So we have staff bathrooms in the B wing on both, but on the second floor, we don't have that same condition. We have only staff bathrooms over at the one in the on the B wing, on the one side, not the other. So we're suggesting, and I think we may need to do this just because I think we're a little over 300 feet, that we change that custodial storage A206 into a bathroom, a staff bathroom. I think the distance from the D wing furthest classroom is too far to ask someone to go all the way down there. The other issue is that from the E wing, which is on the left side, yep, over there, the code allows us to go down an elevator to get to the bathroom. So you would go from the furthest classroom over to the elevator, take the elevator down to the first floor, and go over to the bathroom on the first floor.
Which is
So
right
we think
below
that's
here.
kind of circuitous as well. So we're kind of thinking from an educational standpoint and from the teachers being able to monitor classrooms and not have to go so far to get to restrooms, that we really should add a kind of a centrally located staff toilet right there, so that from the D wing and the E wing, there's a bathroom on that level that they can get to without walking all the way over to basically all the way to the end of A.
And it's worth
So
pointing
that's-
out, and I'm sure you can see it, but there's plumbing here. So there's a gang toilet for the students.
Yeah,
and
that was
there's
why
a
we
special ed
picked it. It's
toilet.
back to back with another bathroom.
Yeah.
That's why we figured that was a good spot, because there's another restroom, the sped toilet's right behind it, so
Mhm.
we would be able to just, there's a plumbing wall there already. So we
Mhm.
figured that was, and there's also a storage room and a custodial closet right in front of those double bathrooms. So we
Mhm.
figured there's a lot of storage there anyway. And there's the storage and there's a little custodial closet. So it wasn't a huge loss from the custodial standpoint in that location, but a very, very big gain from a functional standpoint. And I think, again, the calculations I've done, I mean, we are like right on the edge, if not over, on the 300 feet. We're like 308, 306. And you're really having to start to hug the walls and try to figure out exactly like the closest perfect line to get to the bathrooms. And that's too tight for my comfort.
So when Dan,
Strongly suggesting we add this.
Dan, when you're speaking to hugging the walls, you're talking about basically if someone were, we could make it work on our end, but
Right.
if someone,
When I calculate when you calculate the distance, I mean, I can go out the door of the room and I can draw the line in such a way to try to make it 300 feet, but it's always like I could just about get to close to 300 feet. So it's not like I can draw it one way, it's 275, and I draw it another, it's 325. I could draw it one way and it's 312, and I draw it another way, it's 299.9.
Yep.
So it's so close that I really think that
And
we
so
really want to add this.
from a kind of requirement perspective, if it's a requirement, which it really sounds like you are saying it is, because I think we don't want to be.
I think it is.
Yeah. So but here's my question: if it's a requirement, then we don't need to vote on it, do we? Or should we? Do you still want us to take a vote? I guess is my question. Regardless.
well, so the only thing that the vote's going to do is allow the TRC to be authorized to negotiate the price and execute it. We don't have a price yet, so it would be authorizing them to make this a non-discretionary item and give them the authority to execute it once PMA and Perkins give the recommendation that it's good. Yep,
And
I think that's the best thing to do.
okay, I don't have another. I mean, it seems fairly obvious to me that this would be a decision that's in the best interest educationally in terms of what's going on in that building. So I clearly probably like to hear from Dr. Cabral and Sam.
Looks
or-
like Dottie has a
or
question.
Ann, and I think Dottie, and I see Dottie's question as well. So why don't can I ask Dr. Cabral and then Dottie, I'll come to you. Is that okay? Perfect.
It definitely makes sense. I can't imagine that we would want to have a building like this and have it inconvenient for staff to make use of the facilities, especially, Dan said it perfectly. We're already short on time. We always have children around us or near us, and it definitely makes sense. Is that now going to be a one-stall gender-neutral bathroom for the floor? Where
Yeah.
are the
Yes, for that level, for that portion, there are other bathrooms on that floor,
on the
but
second
they're just
floor?
not as. They're just not as close.
I got it.
So it just seems to us like that lower level of the building where D and E and B are all connected. There's nothing really down there. You have to go all the way up into A, and we felt like you really should have something in the D, B, and E.
No,
portion
that
of the
makes
building.
perfect sense. Of course it does. And I would strongly advocate for that as well.
Dottie, I think you had a question. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just curious on the first floor, directly underneath that, it looked like there were more bathrooms. And then on the second floor where there wasn't, and that there's a requirement, it seems like there would have been an intentional reason why it wasn't on the second floor. Is there something else that we should be thinking about, or?
No, I think that one of the things that changed in the code, and this is not, this was a couple of years ago, so it wasn't really, it might have been just a holdover that we didn't really keep in mind when we were doing this, is you used to be able to go up and down staircases as an employee to go to a bathroom. And they have they have changed that. Now you have to go up and down an elevator. So when you used to be able to calculate the 300 feet from, say, the D wing, I could go down the staircase to get to that closest bathroom, which is well within 300 feet. But now I have to calculate it all the way over to the closest elevator and all the way back to the bathroom. So I think that's kind of where the issue is that, you know, we didn't keep that, we didn't really keep that in mind, that little change in the code, which is, you know, which happened in the last couple of years, that's the issue is, if you could go down a stair, it's not a big deal. But I also think that just going down the stair is also not ideal in this case. I think you want to keep it on that floor.
Jane?
Go ahead, Caroline. I think that's
I just
Caroline.
wanted to mention that right after Richardson Olmsted was built, a couple of teachers actually came to me and said that the one complaint they had was that for their particular classrooms, the bathrooms were too far away. And they were kind of upset about that. So I'm really happy now that we're considering this. I think it's really critical for staff. So thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Questions, comments, concerns? And if not, then I think I will ask for the school planning committee to take a vote to authorize this, but I want to make sure there's no other comments or questions. And so we'll vote. That will give the authority to, go ahead. Were you going to say something, Walter? Sorry.
Nope.
Okay. So if we vote, it will give the authority to just to move forward without having to come to us. They can negotiate a price. It will streamline the process, I'm assuming. Okay.
Absolutely.
Yep.
So any other questions or comments? Great. So I'm gonna ask for a motion to approve the change, the RFP number 14, which has to do with the substitution of a custodial closet with a staff bathroom on the second floor of the building. Is that specific enough for you, Walter?
RFP 11, but yep, that's perfect.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought it said
If I got that wrong on the agenda, I'm sorry, because it's
Yeah.
RFP 11.
It says, yeah, it says 14. So RFP 11, which would authorize the change from the custodial closet to a bathroom on the second floor.
Cabral,
Okay.
so moved.
Could I have a second?
Second. Cedarbaum, second.
Great, thank you. Cabral,
Yes.
Wiseman,
Yes.
O'Neill,
Yes.
Fulgenetti,
Yes.
Cedarbaum,
Yes.
Weintraub,
Yes.
Carlson,
Yes.
Vamosi,
Mostly yes.
and Martin, I'm also a yes. So that motion carries. Keep going, Walter.
No problem. Don, I'll grab the screen share. Thank you. All right. And good news is not much more. And a quick contingency update. So believe it or not, at the time of this, we were 20% complete. Our 20% time elapsed. Available contingency remains at 79%. We have a pending change orders which have been approved but aren't in a change order yet, of a credit of about 7,000. Approved changes at 53,000 and current exposure at 734,296. Again, just want to remind everyone that that current exposure is what has been submitted to date, and what PMA is tracking. It doesn't mean we agree with it. It doesn't mean that we have negotiated any of those prices yet. So we have current exposure that we have rejected in there, but we have not received confirmation from the contractor that we can void them out of our system. So we do track them until such a time that we have confirmation. And then total contingency, available contingency is 86.8%. So we're in very good shape still right now.
Questions or comments on the contingency utilization?
Right.
Walter, this is bid contingency saving. This is bid contingency utilization without the bid savings contingency, right?
This
This
is,
is original bid contingency.
yes, this, you wouldn't be able to see the chart if we had the bid
Yeah,
savings.
the pie slice would be very small. Yes.
Yes. Yes, you-
So this doesn't include, right, okay.
No, this does not include $10 million of bid
Yeah.
savings. No, it
Yeah.
does not. So thank you, Dan. And then that's really everything I have. Next meeting is September 15th, October 20th, November 17th, and December 15th. PMA does not have any further new business at this time. Dan or Don, do you guys have anything to bring up? I don't think so.
I do not.
And Jane, I will turn it back to you if you have new items to, or if anyone on the committee has new items.
So from my perspective, I have no new items, but I'd like to just check in with Dr. Cabral, and then maybe back to you in terms of the September, October, the next 3 months, what big things might be coming down the pipe for this committee that we should be focused on? So those are my two questions. One is, Dr. Cabral, do you have anything? And two is, what are the big things coming down the pipe for the next 3 months for us?
I do not have anything.
And I would say, and Dan and Don, please correct me if I'm wrong, but do you guys typically look, I mean, I'm trying to think of something, and really the only thing I can think of would be if you guys are going to be looking for anyone to assist you in making any type of color decisions on the interior. Or if that's been, oh, actually, did we pick colors already? That already went through, right?
Mostly we have. There's recently
Schemes.
been one thing I reached out to Dr. Cabral just for a kind of what her thoughts were. If anyone's curious, it was the toilet partitions. We normally do really indestructible dark colors, and I felt like that was kind of dark for this age group. So I reached out to her with something more neutral, and she agreed that should be fine.
Great.
But we have an interiors presentation I did just over a year ago. I think it was late June 2020, which has been my sort of,
Building blocks.
yeah, I'm making decisions based on those presentations. And if anyone's interested and wants to be involved, I literally have piles at my house of samples that I'm making decisions on based on those the recommendations in that interiors presentation that was done. So far, there have not been any anomalies. The terrazzo was something that's new, but I went with something sort of neutral and light because that's all in that main cafeteria space. Very easy to clean and durable material. But if anyone has questions or wants involvement or wants me to take pictures, I think with the exterior, I sent a photo to Dr. Cabral just for reference on the selection. So I could even do like a little photo and send it around. Maybe I send it through PMA to Jane, and you guys can
That'd be great.
share it around. I can put little labels on it, and so people know what they're looking at.
Yep. And I really can't think of anything else that the committee at this point. We'll obviously, if anything comes up, we'll be sure to reach out as quickly as we can. We don't want to give you bad information. We want to make sure we have the whole story, or if anything's going on.
Okay. Perfect.
Really
Any other committee members or members of the community who have questions or comments before we move to adjournment?
Jane?
Yep.
This is Florence Sullivan.
Hi, Florence. Go ahead.
I just wanted to say that the contractors that are working in our area, the excavations and all of that, they've done a really fine job with it and neatened it up every night. So it's really nice. The only thing is they have a compactor that kind of makes your teeth chatter, but that's okay. It doesn't last long. But I do have a question about the telephone pole and where the pole that's currently on the east side of the drive is going to be moved. Where's the final location on that?
Florence, it's about 5 feet southeast. I think there's a stake there, and I believe that's roughly the position.
Okay. Okay, so that's where it's going to be. Great.
Yep.
And when they work on the utilities, will we lose power or gas service for any period of time?
So when they move the pole, it's likely that power will be out until they make that connection. But that's going to be That's gonna go through the town. Notification's gonna go out to all the abutters. I'm not sure what the town's requirement is, if it's 500 feet within the area or if it's so many houses, but that'll go out well prior, and it'll be coordinated, so you guys will know. But it would just be power and internet. And typically what they do is they have everything set, they cut, and then they splice back in. They try to do it as minimal as possible, but there will be plenty of notification prior to that happening. It won't just be randomly happening.
And that would be the same thing for the gas company?
Nope, the gas company, we actually stubbed into the gas line already. So your house should not lose gas. They can do taps into it. So I don't believe gas will go off when we liven up our line.
Terrific. Thank you very much.
Yep.
Thank you all very much.
No problem.
Thank you, Florence. Thank
Thank
you.
you, Florence.
You're welcome.
Okay. With that, I am going to go ahead and ask for a motion to adjourn.
O'Neill,
Motion
so
to
moved.
adjourn? Oh, I'll second.
Thanks. Cabral,
Yes?
Wiseman,
Yes.
O'Neill,
Yes.
Fulgenetti,
Yes.
Cedarbaum,
Yes.
Weintraub,
Yes.
Carlson,
Yes.
Vimosi,
Mostly yes.
and then Martin, I'm also a yes. Great. Thank you so much, everybody. And we won't see you before. Have a great start for the new school year. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Good night, everybody.
Great job,
Night. Good luck
Walter,
at school
Dawn,
starting.
Yep, that's great.
Dan. Thank you.